Hello, welcome to another episode of This, That, and the Other. And today I'm going to be talking about a game called ABPA, American Professional Baseball Association. And game company founded in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, created in 1951 by trunking firm purchaser J. Richard Seitz. The name of the board game league was devised by Seitz in 1931 with 8 high school classmates. After World War II, he founded ABPA Game Company, working out of his living room. 2011, after 60 years in Pennsylvania, the company headquarters moved to Alpharetta, Georgia. So it started out with baseball. The only one that I ever had was the football version, and it had a football field, plastic football that you can move. It had different play cards that you could use. They had the players. What it was basically was the teams and the players for different seasons. And I actually have the card sets for the 1976 Seattle Seahawks and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I actually have the whole season, all the teams from the 1976 season. But I had a couple other games I've sold on eBay because I don't play it anymore, but I saved the 1976 season just because of the cards being the first year of the expansion year of the Seattle Seahawks and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And what you do basically, you roll the dice. They put this dice in shaker, so expert dice handlers aren't going to get the numbers, and you get like, if you hit 66, which I actually did hit, that would be if it was a good quarterback throwing a football or a good running back, it would be a touchdown. And I'm going to show you some examples of some players that played on these teams. Look at the 1976 Seattle Seahawks, Lyle Blackwood. And offensive, his ratings as an end is a 1. Defensive rating is a safety 2, halfback 2. For some reason they called that position halfback. I'm not sure why, but then they had like a running rating, a pass rating, kick rating. I'm not sure what the kick rating was for anybody that wasn't a place kicker. I'm not sure how that worked out. But I'm gonna look through here real quick and see if there's any interesting names here, memorable names. I know I'm gonna find what I'm looking for. Let's see here. Bear with me. Bob Lurtzema, he was a lineman with the Minnesota Vikings, Purple People Eaters. Still trying to find what I'm looking for. Okay, here we go. You got Jim Zorn. See how you got the ones if he hit 66 right here, and passing, he would throw a touchdown if he hit 66. Offense, quarterback 3 rating. Sherman Smith, halfback on the team, also 3 ratings. The team, it's based on how the players performed that year, and how the team was that year. And these were expansion teams, so these numbers aren't what great. McCullum, I believe he was a union steward or something as well for that team. All right, here's a name I was looking for. Steve Largent, receiver, 4 rating. That's the best one I've seen for the Seahawks. And you got the backup quarterback, the veteran Bill Munson, 2 rating. That's what some of the good ones from the Seattle Seahawks. I'm going to take a look at Tampa Bay. 1976 Tampa Bay Buccaneers were winless, and 77 they didn't win a game until their last 2 games of the season. They finally got a victory in New Orleans against the Saints. Let's see what we got for the year 1976. Trying to find it interesting. Dave Pear, 3 rating, pretty good for a Buccaneer player for that year. Tackle and offensive tackle ends. Let's see here. Not very many memorable names for that year. I don't remember a lot of these players, to tell you the truth. J.K. McKay, okay, John McKay's son. John McKay had coached at USC, teams that had won national championships, and he takes over the Buccaneers. The team's terrible. J.K. McKay had a number 2 rating on offense. Curtis Jordan, I believe he was later on the Redskins. Dewey Selman. I do remember there being Selman. I think there's Selman brothers. Maybe Leroy was on the team too later. All right, we got quarterback for that team, Steve Spurrier, who later became a successful college coach at Florida, South Carolina. Tried a stint with the Washington Redskins, which didn't work out very good. But he was a number 2 rated quarterback. He didn't even have a 2 under 66, or I'm sorry, he didn't even have a 1 under 66 in passing. He had a 2, so he could I guess he could have conceivably thrown a touchdown against a weaker offense, or I'm sorry, weaker defense. And the backup quarterback to him was Parnell Dickinson. That was another player that didn't last. Those were both on the 76 team, but were not there the next year. He's a 1 rating. But actually, he could throw a touchdown if you hit 66, because he does have 1 on there. So interesting. They also had Terry Hanratty as their 3rd string quarterback. He was a veteran and played for Notre Dame and was on the Pittsburgh Steelers for a while as a backup. And if I'm not mistaken, this J over here was their injury rating. So basically what you did, you'd have your cards turned over so your opponent couldn't see what you had for your plays. But you might do like running. I had a card said like running play, pass play, plunge play. Maybe it's like short pass, long pass, running play, plunge play, something like that. I can't exactly remember how those cards went. I don't have the full game version, but your opponent would try to zone in on what he thought you were going to try to do. Like if you're going to run a running play, say, call a defense. Like I forgot what the defense was for a running play, but if you thought it was going to be a pass, you call a blitz on the quarterback, and I believe call the receivers you think the ball was going to be thrown to. If I'm not mistaken, like I said, it's been years since I played this thing, and my brother would play it with me, and he was the one that would look at the chart and read all that stuff. I was never very good at that kind of stuff. But as far as an injury, you roll the dice, and you might get something like -4 yards penalty. And you roll the dice, see what the penalty is, or -5 yards injury. Then you roll the dice to see what the injury rating was, and what they're based on what it was. It would then look at it and say, okay, this person's out for 2 games or whatever. On J0, I believe it meant the player could still play even though they were injured. Now, it must have been players that that didn't get injured the whole season. But like I said, it was based on how the players performed in the year. And my brother and I actually did the whole 1976 season, and I believe Super Bowl, Dallas beat Oakland in overtime. I believe that was how that Super Bowl ended. I mean, in reality, the 1976 season, Dallas Cowboys were very good. They had been in the Super Bowl the year before. They hosted the Rams, and Rams played defense, did a very good job on them. Roger Staubach threw 3 interceptions in that game, ended up being like 14-12, and then the next round the Rams lost to the Minnesota Vikings, and the Raiders were in the I can't remember who they played in. Oh, I believe they played the Pittsburgh Steelers in the championship and beat them, and then the Raiders won the Super Bowl 32-14 over the Vikings. I remember watching that. That thing was a landslide, and the Raiders totally dominated them. It looked like the game was decided at halftime. But that's what I remember about the ABPA games. And they also had, besides baseball and football, they had golf, basketball, hockey, bowling, boxing. I don't know how you did boxing, soccer, saddle racing. So they had different, and they were all different board games as well. You imagine doing golf or bowl. I don't know how you do that. Very interesting, but I enjoyed the football version. But like I said, I had to sell it. But I can't see my way clear to selling this set from 1976 because they still have the rookie cards. You could also order extra cards of other players as well for a little bit more money. I bought this 1976 game from somebody, so he didn't have the extra cards, so I didn't have them for that season. I bought them for other seasons, but of course I sold both of those games. And as always, like, subscribe, share. As always, thanks for watching.